Welcome back to this one-hour special on the 92-93 Mumbai riots, the stench of truth. We just showed you how the police misused their wireless sets to incite violence. Now see what happened to those policemen who participated in violence. There were departmental inquiries against 31 men in its force. CNN-IBN now has in its possession the RTI documents that list their crimes and their punishments. The details will shock you.
It's here at Antip Hill that ASI Arvind Mahadev and his team of 4 officers allowed a family of 3 to be burnt alive in their own Maruti car on 14th of January 1993. ASI Mahadev was asked to retire 8 years later. Under normal law, he and his men could have faced anything between 5 to 7 years of prison.
Police Constable Sanjay Gowde was actively seen conniving with the Shiv Sena cooperator Milind Vaidya here in Mahim and was seen carrying a sword in his hand. Under normal law, Gowde could have got up to 3 years in jail, but he was only dismissed from service 10 years later.
On 8th of January, Police Constable Vidyadhar Shelar caught hold of a rioter called Babu Sheikh and handed him over to a mob only to be killed. What was his punishment? He was put on a minimum pay scale for just the period of a year. Under normal laws, Shelar could have got up to 7 years in the jail.
Here at Suleiman Usman Bakery, API Deshmukh led a team from the crime branch who went inside and killed 9 workers. API Deshmukh was exonerated in 2001. If he'd been found guilty, he could have served up to life in prison.
And it was Adi Tyagi, then the joint CP, who had ordered the firing. Even the commission indicted him, but he went on to become a police commissioner just 2 years down the line. After his retirement, he joined the Shiv Sena and the courts acquitted him in the year 2003. Tyagi would have easily faced up to 7 years in the jail had he been found guilty.
One of the worst cases involved Sub-Inspector Nikhil Kapse, who with his team of policemen opened fire on a congregation at the Hari Masjid in central Mumbai. Farooq Mapkar was at the Hari Masjid saying his afternoon prayers when he suddenly heard gunshots and looked up to see the police firing at the congregation.
इंस्पेक्टर निखिल कापसे वगैरह जो आए और इस मस्जिद के अंदर घुस गए और बेगुनाह 6 लोगों की हत्या कर दिए और कई लोगों को जख्मी कर दिया. उसके अंदर मुझे भी गोली लगी थी.
But the police sub-inspector was still baying for blood.
शमशुद्दीन नाम का लड़का था जिसके पैर पर गोली लगी थी और वो जैसा करीब आया तो उसके छाती में एक गोली मारकर उसे भी वहीं पर खत्म कर दिया.
The irony is that while the killers in uniform roam free, victims like Mapkar have been implicated in cases of murder and rioting. Mapkar has been coming to this court for the last 14 years, charged by the state in a rioting and arms act case, offences he never committed.
हमारी गवर्नमेंट आज तो सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि इंसाफ के नाम पर हमें बेवकूफ बनाया जा रहा है, क्योंकि आज मुझे 14 साल से आज कोर्ट के चक्कर काटने पड़े, मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद हो गई है.
In Mumbai with Toral Varia, this is Rohit Khanna.
Well, those RTI documents you just saw on air were brought to us by Teesta Setalwad. Also, the radio recordings and the ham radio recordings you saw were also produced by Teesta Setalwad before the commission and now before us. But coming to you, Mr. Singh, did the police protect its own? There are people who went out and committed murder and have been given promotions. Case in point, Nikhil Kapse.
Well, if that is the case, action should be taken against him.
But why hasn't it been taken?
If anybody has committed a murder, he should be treated at par with any other ordinary killer.
But there was no criminal case filed against him. There's only been a departmental inquiry.
Well, I think this will have to be looked into, and I suppose now that the government has ordered some action, one has to wait and see what action actually follows. But if
Mr. M.N. Singh, you were the Commissioner of Police. These decisions were taken later when you were Commissioner of Police. You should have known about these incidents that officers have been given promotions.
I was not the Commissioner of Police during the riots.
No, later.
When Kapse was dismissed.
That was much later in the year 2000. I became the Commissioner of Police in the year 2000,
That's
which
when
was
he was
many
exonerated,
years after
sir.
the riots.
That's when a number of people were exonerated.
In 2003.
No, see, to set the records straight, I must tell it that it is I who had arrested Mr. Tyagi and the colleagues who had opened fire in the Suleiman Bakery case, and I had charge sheeted, I think, 18 of them, and 9 of them were discharged by the court, and some are still, I understand, some are still facing the trial.
Not a single
person convicted. So it is not that I had
not one conviction.
So that I think, you see, there are many cases of the riot time which are still pending in the court. That is the unfortunate part of our criminal justice system. There are hundreds of cases which are still languishing in the court of trial.
Right.
In the court of trial.
Teesta Settlement wants to respond. Yes, Teesta.